In section 5.1, number 65, we're looking at the distance to the top of a movie screen. And the question says, at a theater, the optimum viewing angle depends on the number of factors, like the height of the screen, the incline of the auditorium, the location of a seat, the height of your eyes while seated, and so on. One of the measures needed to find the best seat is the distance from your eyes to the top of the screen. For a theater with the dimensions shown, which is in your book on page 218. The distance here is given by the formula. X is the diagonal distance from the horizontal floor to your seat, and theta is defined in that diagram on page 218. So our task here for part A is to show that this formula is equivalent to 800 plus 40x cosine theta minus sine theta plus x squared. So I'm going to work with this formula and try to get to the formula we have at the bottom of the screen there. So let's see. So I'm going to just FOIL these out and then add them together. So let's start with this guy. Let's FOIL him. And that is 20 times 20 is 400. And then it's a perfect square trinomial, so I can do 2 times 20 times x cosine theta. And then the last term is x squared cosine squared. And then just keep adding here. I'll put a plus sign. Very similar results, except this time I'll have a minus sign for this guy. Minus 40. And a sine instead of a cosine. So I'm just squaring this last term. And then to simplify this further, I'm going to add combine like terms, or in this case, I'm actually going to do similar terms. So these are like terms, so I'll combine those and write 800. These are not exactly alike because one's sine and one's cosine, but they're similar. So what I'm going to do is factor out a 40 out of both of those. So if I take out a 40, then I'm left with an x cosine, actually let's do 40x, sorry. 40x, then I'm left with cosine theta minus sine theta. And then those last two terms are not like terms, but similar. So I can factor out an x squared here, which leaves me with the cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta, which I know turns into 1. So this guy actually cancels and becomes 1. So that leaves me with just x squared at the end there. And it looks like that is actually what we have down here at the bottom of our screen. We have 800 plus 40x times that plus x. So that is part A. For part B, we're going to be using a calculator. So I'm going to actually just move things around to give us some space. So for part B, we're told that, let's see, what do we have here? We have theta is going to be 18 degrees. And we have that we're in the 8th row with 3 feet between each seat. So the first row is right up in front. So that's going to be 3 times the 7 next rows, which gives me 21 feet for x. And then I just plug and chug. So I got my distance formula here. I'll have to find the square root of this actually. So to solve for d, I get the square root of all of this. So that's, let's use this formula right here. 800 plus 40 times x is 21 times cosine of theta minus sine of theta. So that's cosine of 18 minus sine of 18 plus x squared is going to be 21 squared. And putting that into my actually not yet, no calculator just yet. So let's still do 40 plus times 21 gives me 840. And then let's go ahead and leave this in exact form so we don't need a calculator. 21 squared gives me 441. So combining like terms, so 800 and the 441 combine, and I get 1241. And this is about as simple as I can get with the rest without a calculator. So there's an exact answer. Yeah, let's just leave it in an exact form. There we go. So D equals this.